Yo, what's up, guys? It's Bro Cobra, and I'm a badass. We're gonna be doing the set review for Black today. Yep, we're pushing all the colors through. This has the best planeswalker ever. And if you want to hear how bad she is, you have to stay tuned. Also, we're still with A+ to F-. If you're not watching these in order, for whatever reason you're doing that, stop it. Continue watching. It was stop it, period, then continue watching, exclamation point, smiley face, wink, nod, nudge, wink, nod.
So we got Banehound, the lifelink haste, 1/1 for black. I think if we can find, there was actually a black-white aggro deck that we had play against us, but I don't think the card overall is like amazing. If you have a bunch of different ways to
someone played this
pump it up.
This?
I don't think they played the specific card, but they played the archetype that it would go into, which is like a black-white aggro list. So like if you can find the right build behind it to be able to play it, then it's great. But other than that, I don't see it being that great.
People want this to be the next Healer's Hawk, and it doesn't have evasion, so I think it's an F. Don't play 1/1s for 1 without evasion and an additional ability. Don't do it, chat.
I was nicer. I said D-, but I would love to go
I actually
F.
said F-. I don't ever want to put this card in my deck, and I'm going to pump the fist every time my opponent casts this against me. I'm like, yes, Banehound! My opponent mulliganed! That's how much I hate this card.
Oh my god. Alright.
Now this is a 1/1 I can get behind for
This
one.
guy's great. This guy is like 100 times better than Banehound.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This guy is pretty sweet. He's a 1/1 with Menace, which is already okay, but his ability makes him pretty good, I think. The ability to... Or even just the threat of activation of sacrificing a creature to put 2... Or Planeswalker, which comes up a lot when you have, like, all these uncommon Planeswalkers to go down to 1 and they don't really do anything anymore.
Yeah.
You can just sacrifice them and put 2 counters on it and instant speed. The fact... I was surprised when I read this card again today and I saw that it was at any speed that you could put the counters on, because usually when they make cards like this nowadays, it's sorcery speed only, but this one has amazing threat of activation, and that's why I like it a lot. And I gave this a C+.
C+, yeah. I can't push it up to a B-, but what it does is it enables a lot of the stuff that you want to be doing in black for this set, and that's just sacrifice. And just being able to have it combo off with the fake Bitter Blossom, Dreadhorde Invasion. So you can just amass for 1, sack it, and then, or if you play it after you have Dreadhorde Invasion, then when the trigger goes on the stack, you sack your amass for 1, then you get another amass for 1. It's one of the prime cards, I think, in these type of strategies, and when you're able to play it like turn 1 or turn 2, depending, it's just going to continuously get value over time, and I don't know. I think this card's like very good.
C+ for Dread Malkin.
Yeah. Oh yeah! Ghost form.
I'll let you start with Ghost form.
All right,
explain why you think it's good, and then I'll explain why it's bad.
Ghost form, so good. So this card is the Demigod effect. So if they try to kill it, if they try to exile it, it returns to the battlefield under your control. The cool thing to note is that you enchant any creature or it's a creature or planeswalker you control. So it not only hits your creatures, but also your walkers as well. Putting it on one of your walkers is great. It's like an extra tool to be able to save them in case they get like just fully attacked, Also, if you are able to proliferate with most of the planeswalkers, instead of going to 1, they go to 2. So then you can minus, bring it back, and then minus again. So you get like a double activation in one turn. But outside of that, like if you're worried about them exiling your creature, just put this on it, and it's like perfectly fine. It's enter the battlefield abilities for the creatures are just insane. I think it's a B minus. I think I want like 2 or 3 in this deck.
Wow, dude.
Like I'm hyped on it.
I'm not hyped on it.
All right, go.
All right. So I think this card is a D.
Ouch.
I don't think it's a total F because I think there are creatures and planeswalkers that are powerful enough that you'll want to put these on it. Maybe in the main deck. I mean, the fact that it protects from exile removal or destruction, but only if you can resolve it first.
It's 1 mana.
It is 1 mana.
It's 1 mana.
It's kind of situational because it is an aura. You can put it on a creature or planeswalker, but you still get owned by bounce. You don't get owned by destroy or exile, and let's say do it in response, but you still get owned by bounce, which we've definitely done today. Yeah, I think we totally lost something with a ghost form on it. It was pretty.
No, we made our opponent lose their ghost form because we did totally lost. We put their guy on top.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like we made someone lose.
Oh, I thought you meant like
our
ghost forms were awesome.
Totally lost. Our ghost forms were okay.
By the way, with Bantu, you can sack the ghost form and the creature and still get the creature back.
Yeah. It's like getting an extra card out of Bantu.
Combo breaker.
Bantu's also a mythic, and you're not always going to have it, Alex. That's why I created this card's a D, because you're not always going to want to put it in your black deck. Usually you're not going to. I think less than 40% of the time you're going to put it in your black deck.
The lowest I can go down to is a C. I think if you're playing black, you're almost always going to play it. Okay. Especially in black where you're sacrificing all your creatures all the time. And like it nullifies the removal that your opponents have. Yes, it needs to not be removal that's spent on your creature when you're trying to cast it onto your creature, but I don't know. I think this card's amazing.
I think there's enough instant speed interaction.
CR Bomber, thanks for the host, my brother.
Alright, well,
a little bit late on
Alex
that.
Likes Ghost Form a lot more than I do.
Ghost Form! Price of Betrayal. Remove 5 counters from target artifact, which is non-existent creature, planeswalker, or your opponent, which is not
also
relevant. This looks like it's just a card for older formats.
This looks like a sideboard card to me, because you can at least kill a planeswalker. I don't think you should be main decking this card in draft. I think in sealed you can.
No.
But I think this card gets a sideboard B from me.
Sideboard B?
Yeah, like when you bring it in, it's a B. But I don't think
they'd have to be playing like 6 planeswalkers. I just feel like this is like...
They don't have to be playing 6 for this card to be good. You can also remove like all the +1/+1 counters from something.
Yeah, but if they have 5+1/+1, like you're dead. I don't know. C- maybe, but I feel like this is a sideboard only card. I think this.
That's
is
what I'm saying.
C+.
It's a sideboard only card, and when you bring it in from the sideboard, it's probably a B. Because you bring it in when they have planeswalkers you want to kill, or other stuff with a lot of counters. Next card, Spark Harvest.
Spark Harvest. It's for 1 black and sorcery. As an additional cost, it casts the spell, sack a creature, or pay 3 in black. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. I think this card is fine. Again, it's in the black color, so it's going to be doing what you want it to be doing, which is sacrifice a creature. If you have Ghost Form, you're not really sacrificing a creature.
You're sacrificing Ghost Form instead.
Yay! So it's only like a 2 mana kill a creature or planeswalker. But I think this is like potentially one of the better removals that you have in black. Just when you have the ability to take advantage of the sacrifice effect. But I don't think it's going to be one of like the best removals that you can find. I gave this one a C-.
I gave this a C+.
C+? I mean, it's unconditional.
I really give it a B-. I think in the right deck, it can definitely be a B-. Like, you're sacrificing just 1/1 amass tokens to you it, or sacrificing uncommon planeswalkers that are spent. Like, they go down to 1, and you're like, I don't need you anymore. Then you could just use it as bone splinters that can also kill planeswalkers. The fact that this card can kill a planeswalker is, I think, huge in this format. Not that
C+, yeah. I can see that.
C+ for Spark Harvest.
I can see
Plus,
that.
you can always pay 5, and it's not that bad at 5.
Not that bad.
It's kind of bad.
Aid the Fallen combo card.
Combo with our weird buddy.
Weird, wonderful card.
Our weird buddy.
I think this card is great.
Spellkeeper weird combo.
I think this card is a solid C.
Solid C.
Yeah, because, like...
How many copies
I don't know.
would you play of this card?
1, potentially 2 if you have the combo. But I definitely think that it's good enough because you are going to be doing the sacrifice effect, especially with the spark.
I don't think you want to be playing this card unless you have a decent amount of good planeswalkers.
Well,
You're
even
happy to play
if
it
you have
as
3.
a 2-mana Raise Dead.
That's how much they cost normally, anyway.
Yeah, but you're not happy with that card. You're not getting value. You're not really getting value unless you're returning a planeswalker too. So I think if your deck has like 3 or 4, like 3 minimum planeswalkers,
like, most of the
and
time you
to
have
be
3
really good ones probably, then I play this. I like this card a lot in sealed, but I think in draft it's going to be less good because you're going to have less good planeswalkers. That's my take. I gave that card a C-.
I still think it's a C. I think
be a D+ because I don't think you play more than 2 copies of this card ever.
no more than 2.
Yeah.
I guess I could see that. I could, just because you're not playing 2, I could go down to C-, but I can't put it in the D range. I think it's definitely 1.
I wouldn't play more than 2. 2 is definitely my limit on this card.
I think it's definitely 1 because, like, if you're opening,
it's the kind of card I want 1 of in most of my black decks.
if you have 8 planeswalkers in a draft, and like people pick, like that's what's being passed around, right? Like, how do you not pick a planeswalker in pack 1? Like, you have so many chances to find it.
I don't think you're gonna have that many planeswalkers.
I don't know.
I think you're usually gonna get a deck with 8 planeswalkers.
I can settle at C- for it.
Alright, C-
Dreadhorde Invasion. This guy, I'm gonna be bold and say that it is a bomb. I think it's a
Oh what?
A- on turn 2, or just a
like,
B+ whenever.
A lot like Gideon, where it just like it comes down early. It's very, very good.
It's insane.
I think the card is a B.
I think it's a B+. It's something that enables a lot of your sacrifice effects, especially if you're able to do it every turn. And like the life loss just gets evened out by I keep forgetting his name, Spark Reaper, the guy who like 3 mana sacks a creature, draw a card, and gain a life. So like you're basically drawing a card every turn for 3 mana. And if you don't want to, then you can just keep amassing because you're in that color, and then eventually you just get life gain to get eaten back all the life that you lost. I think this card's great. I think this is not like the best bomb, but it's maybe like top 15, top 10.
Maybe. I still think it's more like a B.
It's so good.
It is quite good.
And then if you ever get 2, Jesus.
If you have amass synergies, it gets a lot better.
So much better. Especially with the lifelink.
Dusk Mantle Operative.
Dusk Mantle Operative. She's kind of cool. I like the design of this card. Have there been a lot of cards with that kind of ability that
Not really.
can't be blocked by creatures with power 4 or more? Or like a X and more? I don't think there's been too many.
Not really.
There's been a few.
Not really that are like 2/2s for 2.
But I do like this card, and if you're
I don't think that ability is going to come up very often. Just like the Wanderer didn't come up very often. I don't think this ability is going to come up very often. I think most of the time this is just going to be a bear that sneaks in 1 or 2 times because maybe.
But if you like incorporate her in like a green or green white, green blue type of strategy where your +1/+1 counters get put on her, then like they can't trade anymore. They're just having to like chump all the time.
I mean, they still like double block.
I think the potential is great for her, but I think most of the time she is just going to be a bear. So I gave her a D+, but
I gave her C-. It sounds like you like her better, but you gave her
a
worse grade.
I put her in a worse grade because she has to be in a specific style of deck for her to be over.
I don't like her that much. I think she is a D+. Like, I look at the other common black 2-drops, and like I'd rather just be playing those. Probably.
Yeah, but like if you have her in like
I think this card is filler.
Yeah,
2-drop filler.
Eternal Taskmaster.
Oh no, this is good black 2-drop.
When I first saw this guy, I thought he was like at least 3 or 4 mana, and then I found out he was 2.
He was a rare.
I was like, oh shit.
This guy's very good.
C+.
C+. I give this card B-. This is
I could
this
bump
is the
him
kind
up.
of card that could take over a game, even if he comes down. He doesn't get to block the first turn, but he's a solid blocker after that. And then your opponents have to keep creatures back, otherwise you're just going to keep attacking and raise deading. And even if he just gets their ability to attack one time and raise dead, that's still very powerful.
And he's like, mediocre to okay in the early game, but he's like insane in the late game.
Yeah, he's
like,
a very solid 2-drop that
I can push him up to B-. I'm fine with that.
So that's why I gave him a B-. B- for Eternal Taskmaster.
2 or 3 of them. That's fine.
Yeah.
This guy.
More black 2-drops, and this one I think is better than the Operative.
Yeah, by far. Yeah,
I think this card punishes ground 2/1s by a lot.
Very much so. The amass synergy also pushes them up. I definitely want in like any type of amass strategy, like 2, maybe 3 in my deck, depending on how many sack outlets I have. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then getting them back with like Taskmaster is just like even better.
I think he's
C-.
He's solid, not great. I give him a C.
Oh, okay.
I think this is the kind of common 2-drop that you will want to play in black.
Yeah, so like, I could bump him up to a C because I want multiples of them.
The Operative. I think it's maybe he's just the best of the common black 2-drops. We haven't talked about the last one yet, which is Vampire Opportunist.
No, I think he's the best.
I think so too.
The best 2-drop?
C for Lazatep Reaver, right?
Yeah, C.
Okay, C for him. Next card is Liliana's Triumph.
Liliana's Triumph.
Also known as Diabolic Edict.
Yep.
Unless you're lucky enough to have a Liliana, in which case, sucks for your opponent. They're gonna lose anyway.
I think that this card is just a little bit too hyped in for like modern and legacy play, just because it has that extra advantage to it. So
I think it's kind of 100% Seed Legacy play.
Yeah, well, because
they already play Edict. This one gets around Hexproof because it's each opponent.
Yeah, and
they play Liliana's, so it has upside.
Yeah, Teo cannot hurt you here.
Nope. Can sack a wall though.
I think that it's like a C+. I wouldn't mind playing 2 in my deck. The only time that I would hate it is maybe against like another black deck that has a mass. But I think it's good enough.
Limited card.
It's not
Edicts
good?
are not usually good limited, especially with all these little amass creatures running around.
But we had Gideon's.
Yeah, but that affects attacking your blocking creatures. This, they could just throw whatever dorky dork they have into it. That's why I gave it a D. Just like most edicts are in limited. Your opponent always has some stupid creature around that they can sacrifice. It's never gonna kill more than a 2/2 usually. Unless you really maneuver the board state.
Yeah, but they're moving into more planeswalkers too, right? So like you're gonna have less creatures naturally.
I don't know. Your opponent plays Lazatep Reaver and you have Liliana's Triumph in your hand. How sad are you?
I'm gonna be sad until like 5 or 6 turns from now.
when you can hopefully trade
Yeah.
for the token and the Reaver.
After I play Liliana. Okay, I mean, I could go up to a D+. I think the sacrifice ability you can work around to a certain degree, because you should be playing some amount of creatures as well, and you should have some other like interactions, but I guess that's just like a removal spell. It's a little bit too conditional. I can understand that.
Alright.
Yeah,
Then
probably one of the
Strife
worst.
gets a
ones.
D+.
D+.
I guess I'll give it a D. Next is Soren's Thirst, which, believe it or not, is a reprint.
Reprint? I don't like it.
Don't like it. What's
No,
wrong with it?
I've never...
I think it's solid.
I think it's good for limited, but I don't... Or, sorry, I constructed. I think it's good for constructed, but
Why
like...
is it good and triggered? This is like
Because
strictly
of-
worse than Moment of Craving, right?
Well, yeah, but when we lose moment, this is going to be it.
I
That or
mean,
it's going
I
to be like the
guess.
blue-black spell, but like, I don't know, just in general, this gains you that life back, and it's an easy, small creature removal. Anyway,
What'd you
Soren's
give it?
Thirst, I put it a D+.
Wow.
I think that it's good enough removal because a lot of creatures are X2, but the black is just so encumbersome, and I don't know.
I think it kills enough stuff in this format for me that it gets a C+. Like, it's not your premium removal, but it's like kills a lot of good stuff.
The most I could do for you,
Gains
dude,
you
is like
life.
C-. We can disagree on it, but C- is where I'm at because it's just like you have to be in black. Strongly in black. You can't splash this. It's really hard to be able to splash it. If you do, you're not playing it till like turn 5 or 6, and then like it's just not as good. I don't know. I'm at C-. You're at C+.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess I can go down to C just because it costs black. But I think that card's a good way to come back from behind. And
The art's
see-
pretty.
Yeah, sure.
Elder Spell. This card we're probably going to disagree on. I find that the Elder Spell is actually a lot better than most people portray it to be. I think it's a C. I think you play it main deck.
You think you main deck this card?
Yeah.
In draft?
Yeah. I think almost everyone's going to play minimum 1 to 2 Planeswalkers, and then there's always going to be that one kid that plays like 12.
If they play a minimum of 1 to 2 planeswalkers, most of the time you're not going to have a target for this.
1 or 2?
Yeah. They have to draw it and then they have to play it. That's not going to come up very often if they have 1 to 2 planeswalkers.
Yeah, but you'll be playing some amount
And
yourself.
they have to be like good ones that you want to kill.
I don't know. It just feels like there's so many planeswalkers. You always see 1 to 2 every game. I'd like to have a removal spell that just kills planeswalkers. I guess you do have creatures.
The fact that it doesn't touch creatures and can only touch planeswalkers, to me makes it a sideboard card until... If I see that the format, most people are playing at least like 3 planeswalkers, then maybe I'll start main decking it. But for now, I'm going to leave that in my sideboard and bring it in when I see that many planeswalkers, and it'll be like a B. You'll kill that creature for 2 mana, you'll kill that planeswalker for 2 mana, and you'll be pretty happy about it. And occasionally it'll kill multiple planeswalkers for 2 mana, which will be insane.
Yeah, that's the dream, right? But I feel like you're only going to deal 1. And then, like, the loyalty on your planeswalker is just, like, bonus, but... I mean, I'll defer to your judgment on that. Just because I haven't, like, played with
I
it
say
all that
sideboard B, what do you
much.
say?
Sideboard. I'll say C-, sideboard, C+, maybe. They'd have to run, like...
You still think it's a main deck card?
I kind of do. I think... I might have misspoke when I said 1 to 2. I was just trying to be modest. If they only have 1 to 2 planeswalkers, then it's a pretty bad card, but... you're what? You're 8, 16, 24 planeswalkers in your draft? Like, how many goes to each person? Or, like, how many people just don't want it? I don't know. On average, each person should have 3 planeswalkers, so...
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they have 3 planeswalkers they could put into their deck.
I agree, and that's why like
or 3 playable ones.
That's why I'm kind of deferring to you, because like I'm kind of up in the air. Like I want to do a definitive statement, but like I don't know. You have more experience in limited environments, so if you think that it's more of a sideboard card, then I'll go with that. So then B in sideboard.
Yeah,
Would you say
sideboard
B for sideboard
for
B?
other spell.
All right. Unlikely Aid. Look at Gideon.
Best thing about this card is the art. Look at Gideon riding Rakdos.
Oh, Rakdos, you're helping
so
out.
good. I'm gonna read the flavor text to chat. No one will ever ride me again, Gideon. Expect no further favors. Rakdos.
Oh man, no more favors.
Rakdos must really hate Nicol Bolas to let Gideon fly on him.
Yeah, and for him not to burn Gideon in the fiery flames under his skull.
He is, but Gideon's Gideon. He's just that. He's the invulnerable man.
He lives forever.
Well,
Until... Dot. I think this card is okay.
We've already seen Gideon sacrifice. It's not. We've already seen the card Gideon sacrifice. It's not a spoiler anymore.
God damn it.
Alright, Unlikely Aid. I don't really like these kind of tricks.
It's pretty mediocre.
I like these kind of tricks better when they like unnatural endurance or supernatural stamina. The kinds that like you get that effect, but then the creature comes back into play, and then you get the creature comes into play ability again. I like that more than I like being indestructible. So I gave this card a D. I don't think you're going to play it that often. I think it'll be okay in your aggressive black decks, but I don't think black is a really aggressive color in this set that wants this card.
Junior Rejon, thanks for the host, buddy. Thank you. I think that this card is like a nice, fun trick. Like you were saying, I think there's a lot better spells in the format that you should be playing. I put it as a D+ only because Indestructible is so strong, and it also gives you a buff to your creature's attack. But I mean, I could definitely rate it down to a D because I don't feel like it's going to be like great. You could put it in against like removal heavy decks just to help out your guy.
Yeah, it could be a sideboard card.
But
it gets better the
you probably don't
creatures
main
you have
deck
to
it.
protect, but it's probably not usually a main deck card, and if it is, you play like one.
Jesus.
Alright.
You might have to go soon.
It is 10 o'clock, so I should probably go.
Alright, well let's
Are we
do...
gonna be able to finish out black? Probably not.
We'd have to go through pretty quick. So, Vampire Opportunist, I think, is probably a D+. It's like a filler. It's not necessarily a great card. What do you think?
Opportunist, I gave a C-.
C-. I could see
I don't
C-
like that it has
because of
1
its
toughness,
ability.
but it has an ability. It's like one of the very few actual mana sinks in the late game. I like 2 drops that can block early and trade off, and then have an effect in the late game.
I wish I had lifelink.
But it's a C- because it's a 2/1.
Bleeding Edge, I think, is awesome. I think this card is definitely like a C+.
C+?
Yeah.
That's your definition of awesome?
What?
I gave this card a B-, I think. Yeah, I gave this card a B-.
I think it's great. I think 2 is...
It's a 2-for-1. And
okay.
2 toughness kills a lot of stuff in this format, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. I wanted it to be instant. I think 2 is good in the deck. I don't want to play any more than 2. It would be tough for me to play more than 2, especially at double black. But I mean, we could push it up to a B-. I just feel like it's not a card that I want to play more 2 of. I don't think it's like a big bomb. I think it's definitely a card that you want to play multiple of, but not more than 2.
I think this card is really good.
I feel like B cards are going to win the game, and this doesn't do
That's
that.
why it's a B-. It's not a bomb, but it's a really solid 2-for-1, and I would play almost any number of these cards. I mean, it's uncommon. I won't get as many as I would play. My limit is probably like 7 or more.
7? My limit's 7.
So good.
All right.
You just kill all their creatures, and
Sure.
you'll have just a giant army.
I think we can disagree, because I'd rather play 7 of this card.
Well, this card is better.
But, anyway, Darrell Rogue Shadow Mage. We might have a discussion on this. I hate this card. I don't think it's that great, but it does have a win condition. At the beginning of the opponent's upkeep, if the player has 1 or fewer cards in hand, Davriel deals 2 damage to them, and then he starts at 3. -1 is target player discards a card. I think this is a control deck strategy. I think this is a sideboard card and constructed playable, not too much in the limited realm. I gave it a D or a D+.
Wow, you're really down on this card.
I really don't like it. It can't protect itself. It doesn't do anything to progress the board. It like discards a card, but they're probably going to discard a land anyway. I don't know. I'm changed my mind.
All right. So I think if you can protect this card, it's a pretty good card advantage engine, and it can do a lot of damage to them. Once their hand gets low, like I don't think like the optimal strategy for this is just slam it on 3. Once you can protect it and proliferate it, then they're gonna get owned. I don't think that's gonna be normal though. I think he's gonna come down. He's gonna get like their last card or one of their last cards out of their hand. And then he's just going to start killing them, and they're going to have to deal with it, or they're just going to start taking 2 damage a turn, and they're going to have to deal with it. Obviously, it doesn't really affect the board when you're behind, but neither does any kind of mind rot. So that's why I kind of gave it a C+, because I think this format will be slower than usual.
All right.
But I'm ready to be wrong. He could be a lot worse than a C+. He could, but I don't think it's a D. I think you play it in most of your black cards. I think you play it in most of your black decks. If you get a minus at 3 times, that's like really good value.
Yeah, but like every time you had something good to say, it always began with an if. Like it's, I don't know. When you have a planeswalker, you need to at least protect itself.
Well, let's just agree.
Style galvanized. Thanks for the host, buddy. Much appreciated.
Thanks for the host. We're gonna move on to the next card.
Damn. That art.
Yeah, that's the best thing about this card is art.
Deliver onto evil. You
it's
get
more playable than the Rakdos, than Unlikely Aid though. Right.
More playable, yeah, for sure. Up to 4 target cards in your grave, or you choose up to 4 target cards. If you control a Bolas, return all of them. Baller. Otherwise, an opponent chooses 2 of them, leave the chosen cards in the graveyard, and the rest to your hand, exile it. I think it's a C-.
I also rated it a C-.
I think that it could be good.
It gets a lot better if you have a lot of good cards in your graveyard and a Bolus, but you're probably winning at that point anyway.
Yeah. I mean, Gifts Ungiven's good, but like,
yeah,
you can't play it turn 3. You can't play it turn 4, 5, maybe 6.
Yeah, it's kind of a later game card and probably not something you play in every deck. That's why I gave it a C-, but it's pretty good value in late game.
Omnixilus Cruelty. I saw this card, I loved it immediately. Instant speed. I mean, we could have hoped for 2 mana, but like most of the cards in this format, it's 3.
Dude, if it was 2 mana, it was better than Doomblade.
It would be amazing.
Probably better than Terminate too.
Yeah, it would be.
The fact that it exiles would make it better than those cards.
What about Fatal Push?
No, not better than Fatal Push.
Sure. Almost always kills Tarmogoyf and it exiles it too.
Yeah, but it costs 1 more mana than Fatal Push. Fatal Push always kills Tarmogoyf every time.
Alright, well, okay.
Alright, we're not talking about constructed here. Omnixilus Cruelty is premium removal for limited. It's a B.
So
solid
good.
B.
I gave it B+. I would play 4 or 5 of them, 6 of them. I would just
B+.
B+. It's amazing.
Kazmina is a B+.
It like kills basically. Wait, who? Yeah, that's fine. Like this doesn't give you card advantage, but it makes sure whatever you target is dead.
What would you take? This or Kazmina? If they were in the same pack. Well, pack 1, pick 1.
Kazmina.
I'm taking Kazmina every time. That's why I think this is a B.
Alright, I'll go down to B.
It's not a 2-for-1. It's just solid removal.
I think...
And it costs 3.
It's like it's the best black common, right?
Yeah.
I think it just is.
It is.
Alright. B, solid B. We have Skydiver, 3 mana, 2/1 with flying, can get haste for 1 mana. I think it's pretty versatile, but I'm not too hyped on it.
I like that as flying. I like
Flying's
the haste,
awesome.
so I can pick off a planeswalker. I don't like it as 1 toughness.
It's horrible. I think it's a C minus, maybe even a D plus, just because of the weaker stats on it.
I think I
The
give it a
haste means it's
C
good.
just because. I mean, we had this card in Amonkhet, like literally this card, because it was a zombie bat. It wasn't a bird, but it was the same stats and the same ability, and it was kind of bad. But I think this is a little bit better because it can kill planeswalkers. So I'm bumping everything up by like a little bit if it can kill a planeswalker. So like anything with evasion, I think is a little bit better. So I think it's C or C minus.
I think
Maybe
it's
a
probably
C
closer to C minus
because, like we said, like the 3-drop slot is so contested.
yeah.
In these,
And like
I'll go
you
C
never really
minus.
want more than
but it's
one.
C minus. You probably just play 1. C minus for a Shriek Diver.
Spark Reaper.
Spark Reaper.
You love this card.
I do like this card.
3 mana to play it. 3 mana to sacrifice a creature or planeswalker. Fun stuff.
You kind of know how I feel about Spark Reaper. How do
Gain
you
a
feel
life and
about
draw a
Spark
card.
Reaper? Would you rate him?
He started to grow on me as we continued to play him, but I think the 3 mana is just a little bit too encumbersome. I kept him at a C minus instead of pushing him up, but I do see the appeal that you can get for him. And since black is more of like a
He's
sacrifice,
just a good late game card. Gives you something to do with your mana in the late game. Gives you value every time your opponent sacrifices or tries to kill one of your things. I like him. I gave him a C plus actually.
I could go up to
If
C.
he had less than 3 toughness, I wouldn't give him a C plus. But having 3 toughness is pretty good. He blocks basically every 1 and 2 drop.
Yeah, so we could see him as like a CC plus then.
C plus for Spark Reaper.
Um,
I'm gonna go. Actually.
you're gonna go.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well,
I'll
thanks for stopping by.
Banehound. Yeah, Banehound. F minus.
And Brandon's back. Hey!
Hey!
What's going on?
I'm here now.
Cool.
Again.
He's back from outer space.
You couldn't not finish the set review, right?
Oh, I would hunt you down, sir.
You did. Just wouldn't leave me alone.
No one has to know. Alright, so we got Toll of the Invasion.
Yeah. Total Invasion is the next card.
How about you start us off?
Hold on a second.
Since
Actually,
you walked away, left me all alone. I think we're gonna have a bit of a difference because I remember you liking this card.
I liked it a lot in Sealed. I actually just increased my grade from before. I had it at a D plus before, but I actually think it's like a C. Like I think it's a really solid card in draft.
Okay. I actually had it at the D plus.
The D plus.
The D plus. The Amass puts it up there most definitely, but 3 mana is like pretty bad.
I agree, but like sometimes that's your only way to deal with bombs, and I don't know. I haven't played it in draft yet, but I've watched some draft streams since then, and it's been quite solid.
Okay.
Like,
Well,
it's definitely not the best black common, but like,
Yeah, like as a sideboard card.
probably in the top 5.
Would you main deck it?
Yeah, I'd probably start in the main deck. I feel like I haven't played too much, but this feels like a slow format.
Okay. I've played one draft.
Yeah, me too.
But like I opened up like a Liliana and a Dreadhorde Invasion, so
Well, that seems pretty good.
yeah, I think I went 6 and 2. I went 6 and 2
I hope I didn't play you.
or 4
Wait,
and
wait.
2. I was 4 and 2. I was 1 win away.
Yeah. I was like, best of 3, there's only 5
Doesn't
matches.
make sense. He's a liar.
I went 5-1 with my blue-red spell stack that had 2 Rals.
2 rounds.
2 Rals.
Were you like copying the copy so you could copy the copy?
Yeah. I was copying Contingency Plan with Ral, and he wasn't losing any loyalty, but everything else on my board was being proliferated. It was pretty great.
Damn.
I also copied a lot of Enter the God Eternals in that draft. So that was the one card I was splashing out of black. And
That's awesome.
You know what's better than one Enter the God Eternals? Two Enter the God Eternals. It's pretty strong.
And then proliferate.
Yeah, exactly. Giant army.
So we got Visor of the Scorpion. He's black 2 for an amass 1 zombie tokens. Get Death Touch.
Yeah, all zombie tokens. Not just zombie armies, but Liliana tokens. And isn't there one other thing that makes tokens?
The 4/4 Vigilance Wonderful tokens from the god.
Okay. Ketra tokens.
Like they need anything
Because
else.
they needed more abilities.
I gave this guy a C. I think he's super solid, especially when you're only like amassing 1, and giving your guy like Death Touch is just, it makes it that much more difficult to deal with. I think maybe since he's a 1/1, my grade is a little bit lower than it probably should be. But if he was like a 1/2, 1/3, then I would probably bump him up to like a C+. Because you can play multiples of him.
He's 2/1s. He's 2/1/1s.
He's 2/1/1s.
This guy, I actually really like this guy. I think he's one of the better black uncommons. I actually gave him a B-.
B-.
And he's the kind of card that when I have him, I just want to like amass for 1 at a time and then trade that off. And then amass again and then trade that off. And you get so much value doing that.
Well, and that's probably what your game plan is, right? Like that has
That's
to
what
be
your
your game
that's
plan.
what your game plan
Like,
is with
so
this
good.
guy. Like normally
It's
in
so
your
good
mass
with this
decks
guy.
you want a big army, but if you have this guy then and you're like on the defensive, your opponent's put in a bad spot. They could like attack in and trade for your amass token that you probably got for basic almost free, like 1 extra mana on your spells, and then you just do it again and make another 1/1. Like in my experience, you just have to get rid of the Vizier, or you like can never win on the ground.
Yeah, and like I could bump it up to like a C+, but I don't know. I feel like the 1/1 body that just he has is very vulnerable, and there's like so many different things that just like ruins this guy in the format.
I mean, the only card that really trades 1-for-1 with this card is like Chandra's Pyrohelix, and that's if you have no army to begin with.
That's true. But like there's
Although
some stuff that gives minus, I think. Besides Massacre.
Well, we'll get to her.
We'll get to her. But yeah, like I said, I can put it up to like a C+. I mean, if you get Widespread Brutality, that's when you go up.
C+,
Right?
B-. Yeah, Widespread Brutality. It's pretty good with this card. I mean, you lose the Vizier for sure, but everything else is dead. That's not an army.
Boom. Boom goes the dynamite.
Yeah. Alright, C+/B- for Vizier of the Scorpion.
And then Vraska's Finisher.
Vraska's Finisher. What do you think about this card, Alex?
I normally don't like these effects. Personally, having to deal damage beforehand is kind of awkward at times. But there are a lot of different ways to deal damage in the format with red. So, I mean, if you pair it with red, it seems okay. Even if you're just like attacking with like, 1/1s or whatever, or like if you have your 1/1 Vizier with Death Touch, like they're probably not going to block it when you attack your opponent's Planeswalker, so then you can get in and like, destroy it. But I don't know. I gave it a C- because like I can see 1 being put into the deck, but like I don't think you want to keep pushing it more and more unless you're like in a damage heavy spell deck. But like I don't know. What do you think?
I haven't had played with this card in draft yet, but every time someone attacks my Planeswalker with like some small dorky creature, I'm just like, please don't have the finisher. Because I'm like, I'm gonna block, but it's gonna suck if they have it.
No,
and then sometimes you just like try and play around it, but you can't play around it by not blocking because then your Planeswalker gets hit. So I think this card is better in general. It's a lot better than the one in Ixalan that could only destroy a creature that does no damage. But that was also a 3 for 4. I don't know. I think this card's pretty solid. I think I usually want to play at least one of these in my black decks, unless I'm like maybe like super in on amass. That's the name of that mechanic. But I don't know. I gave this card a C. I think it's a little bit more solid than a C minus. Like a C doesn't always make your black decks, but like I think most of the time you play this.
Okay. I don't know if I want to go up to a C. I feel like there's a lot more black cards that I'd rather play over it, but I do see the value now that you say like that. It's better than our previous format where it hits creature or planeswalker now.
Mm-hmm. Some people will be like, "Oh, yeah. I don't care if my planeswalker takes one." You're just like, "Nope, it's dead.
It's dead.
It's dead." Now.
Yeah, we can go C. That's fine.
All right, C for Vasquez finisher. C. I did it, chat. I win. I win. Point for Brandon.
A+. He's so good. Holly makes him better. Oh man, dude. Anyway, I think I gave this guy. Yeah, I gave him a D.
He's almost an A with Watley. Like 4 mana, 5/5 lifelink is a pretty good card.
Oh, I know, right? It's
but
like
you can't evaluate this card and assume that you always have Watley.
But then you have to like play like green black or white black or white black.
I pretty much agree. This card, I played like one of this card in some more defensive decks, but like we said earlier in the review last time, I think 4-drops creatures really get edged out. Like 4-drops and 5-drop creatures get edged out a lot in this format because that's kind of where you want your planeswalkers to be.
Yeah.
So like I think that spot on the curve is very contested, and I feel like this guy almost never makes the cut. That's why I gave him a D minus. A D minus.
D minus. Whoa.
D minus for Charity Extractor. You better.
And you're a control
retake
player.
that class.
You want like this big old wall.
Well, I mean, yeah, my control decks, and if I don't have anything better to do with on my curve with 4 mana, then I'll play it, and that's why it's a D minus.
I think I'm gonna leave him at a D. The control decks make him a lot better. He's like decent against aggro decks, so you could like come in out of your board. Matt Stewart did the art, so you know, I don't know. Matt Stewart did the old automaton. I saw him still in America.
The original Sad Robot?
No, the new art.
Oh.
Derp, thanks for the host. Just saw that. Sorry. Thank you.
Thanks, Derp. Alright, this next card is Davriel's Shadow Fugue. 3 and a black, sorcery. Target player discards 2 cards and loses 2 life.
I hate this card. 4 mana for what we're like normally used to just like ping 3 for it. Like, yeah, they lose the 2 life, but like, honestly, how relevant is that 2 life? Like, I feel like this card is like almost never going to be played. And like, I guess if you're playing a couple Toll Invasions, then like, you're going to hit their bombs and they're going to have to discard it and whatever. But, I mean, the scenario that you're wanting to play this card is so fringe. If you have like 4 Davriels, I guess you could like play it, but...
I don't think you need this if you have 4 Davriels. They don't
They
probably don't have a hand anymore.
You never know. They could do like commence the end game and then they're like fucking... I don't know, doing the one that gets back their sorceries and instants out of the graveyard. Not the bolus one, but the blue one.
The weird?
No, the 4 mana.
Oh, yeah. We already talked about that card already. What's it called, though? It's called Bond of Insight.
Bond of Insight, yeah.
Yeah,
So, like, I guess you could...
I agree this card's not really playable, but I don't think it's a straight F. I think this is basically just a sideboard card. And it's not a super exciting sideboard card. I gave it like a sideboard C. But
that
I don't really...
That is very optimistic. I said F or D, but like, I don't know. I'm pretty sold on the F. I mean, I could
strictly,
make it feel a little bit better.
Strictly
F+.
Main deck, I'll say F. But I think you will play this card and it'll be out of the sideboard. And you'll feel decent about it. That's why it's a sideboard C. It's good.
We can
It's
disagree.
good against the slower decks when you're on the draw, especially.
Yeah, but unless my
cards in their
opponent
hand.
has like 2 or 3 gods, I'm not gonna play it. Like I guess if they have so many bombs that like you're just gonna hit it naturally because they're not playing it in time. I mean, like 4 mana they're playing their planeswalkers, right? Like, I don't know. We can disagree on it. I don't like this card at all. I don't think it.
You don't think you're ever gonna sideboard this card in?
I think I'll sideboard it in like 0.001% of the time.
So the sideboard D minus.
So like F. If it's below 1% going in my deck, sideboard or main, I consider it an F.
Wow, that's
because the card has failed. But like, I mean, there's fringe scenarios that this could be good. I just don't like it.
This is a sideboard card.
Plus, he's committing
Like I said,
suicide.
it's
Look at that shit.
cold.
That's gross. Like he's like doing the gun thing to his head, and he's like bang, and then he actually went bang.
I don't think that's what he's actually doing.
Oh, he's not. Is he falling
I
into?
think
a
he's like
pit?
concentrating and doing some psychic thing. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know what this picture is. All right, let's move on.
Going here.
Let's talk about Herald
Herald
of the
of the
Dreadhorde, the much better 4-drop.
Oh yeah, I was playing this guy in sealed, and I even went up to 2. I thought that he was really like pretty decent in sealed, but I don't think I gave him that good of a grade.
I think I originally gave him like a C minus, but like in black, I think this is just the 4-drop that you want, like the non-planeswalker 4-drop that you want. So I bumped him up to a C, and if there weren't so many like 4-drop planeswalkers that I want to play, I would say C plus.
Yeah, C minus for me too. Like he's like a filler. He'll
He's
get you there.
Pretty
eventually.
good filler though. He's good in the. I mean, he's
Yeah,
good
I mean
in the mass decks
he can
too.
trade up.
He's good in the sacrifice deck too, because he's like kind of 2 things to sacrifice.
Very much so.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I just like he trades off with a lot of things and he just leaves you with a 2/2. That's why I like him.
Yeah, that's why he's in the C category for me. It's just there's a lot of things that you could be doing that's better, but like he's definitely a solid creature.
Mm-hmm. I agree. C for
Stiffo
Herald.
Grande. Stiffo Grand?
Grande?
Grande?
Stiffo
Grande
Grande.
Stiffy Stiffo Stefano Grande. Thanks for the host, buddy. Bond of Revival. Finally, we get haste. If only it was instant speed, then I would love it and adore it. But it has
This card would be kind of crazy
It
if it gave haste. Imagine trying to play around that
awesome.
crap.
It'd be horrible.
You're like, oh, my opponent has 5 untapped mana. Guess I can't attack. Because there's a really good creature in the graveyard.
Oh yeah, dude. But yeah, return a creature, gains haste, and it stays there. Unless you like attack into something and it dies. But I think this card is pretty good. It works with a couple cards that make you discard as well. Like Casmina and the Redimass card. The red
Honor the God Pharaoh?
is it Honor of the God of Pharaoh?
Yeah, that's like the
okay.
Tormenting Voice, +1 mana, +1 amass.
Yeah, so you can do that little combo-esque thing. I gave it a C minus just because like playing 2 of it at 5 mana is kind of difficult. If you have like a combo going, then yeah, like you could probably play 2, but I don't think you go any higher than that. But yeah, I think it's a C minus. It's a little bit better than a filler, so it probably should be a C for me. But I just feel like if you don't have too many creatures in your deck anyway, then it might not even be playable. So C minus.
That's basically the same reasoning I had. That's why, but I gave it a C. Like I think when I think of a C, I think of like a card that makes it into when you're playing that color, it makes it in your deck like an average amount of time, like 70-75% of the time. And
Okay.
I've definitely had seen black decks that like wouldn't really want to play this because probably your best cards are planeswalkers, and this doesn't bring back planeswalkers. But like I would definitely play this if I had like creature bombs, and I didn't have too many 5-drops. So that's why I gave this card a C. I think it's pretty strong. I gave it a little knock because I think it's a little bit worse than like, what's that card? Like Rise from the Dead or whatever. Because that
Grave
card,
Revival or something.
I don't think it's Grave Revival. We just had it in M19. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's like 5 mana. Rise from the
it's
Grave?
like this. Yeah, Rise from the Grave.
Yeah.
Isn't that what it said?
I think.
I don't know.
I don't
I like it a
remember
little
what
bit
it
less than Rise of the Grave because it can only target your graveyard. And a lot of strength of Rise of the Grave, I think, was kind of using it as like a mind control after you answered their bomb.
That's true.
Which is not something you can do with this. You have to have I think you have to have your own bomb a creature bomb in your deck to really want to play this. Or just like a creature that's really important to your strategy.
Yeah, true. Having your only hit your graveyard is pretty limiting. Especially when you don't open anything or you don't get past anything of like super value. Mm-hmm. But if you get past like God Eternal Batu, then the card's like amazing.
You're probably really confused why you didn't put it third from the top. Until you cast Bond of Revival. And
they discarded it because they were playing Davriel's Shadow. Fuck it.
No, they told the invasion did. Let's be realistic. Let's be realistic, Alex. They shadow fugue. They didn't shadow fugue it. They told the invasion Bond too, because they're like, I can't beat this card.
No, you cannot.
Speaking of not beating this card,
we had this in a lot of sealed pools.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've had it. I think I missed on it like twice. I don't know. Like we've had this a lot in sealed, so we've gotten to playtest it like a lot. I think I've been up to 4 sealed pools now with it. Like I've had a ton.
Wow, you've had a lot
insane.
of launchers.
Yeah. I think this card is a solid A. I think it's a card that you need to have certain other cards in your deck to be able to make it like the very best that it can be. But like even mediocre lands of it, like you're probably sacrificing 3-4 permanents, and most of them are going to be lands. So like I don't know, a 5/6 menace for 5 that draws you like 3 cards is like pretty insane for me. In like a limited environment, I think that's like pretty crazy good.
I mean, it's not like it's drawing those cards for free exactly.
They're not.
I mean, there's a cost to sacrificing lands. If you're in the late game, there's not really that much of a cost. But Bantu's still very, very good. I still a little bit undecided between A and A-. I think I'm leaning towards A- just because it doesn't really help you come back from behind.
It puts you farther behind.
Yeah, it kind of does. Like it puts you up on cards, but definitely if you're like using her triggered ability, you're down on the board.
That's true.
That's why I gave her A-.
I just think that the body is also like pretty relevant, and like if you have cards like Herald of the Dread Horde, or if you're like making tokens. Like the amass tokens, and what are tokens? There's like wolves in here, citizens, but that's like a rare. Just like if you have just like a bunch of random crap that you just don't need anymore. Like if you're on parity or like just a little bit behind, like he's just gonna be really good for you. It's hard to put him at like a turn 5 card. Because you're not going to be too...
You're probably not sacrificing much on turn 5, but you are getting the best creature on the battlefield.
By far, yeah. And, I mean, like, I could probably be dwindled down to an A-, but I don't know. I've played with this card a lot. I've seen what it can do, and, like, it's pretty resilient with its god ability. I think it's an A. It's a bomb. It's just good.
It is a bomb, but I feel like it's a little like
lackluster,
a little step behind some of the other gods, like Oketra and Kefnet.
He's better than the boar.
Yeah.
Well,
Bantu's better than the boar?
Yeah.
Probably. Because boar is usually at the top of your curve in this format.
If the green one gave trample when it came down 2 instead of vigilance, the Ronas, I think that he would be better than Bontu. But I mean, like, I'm gonna have to say that Bontu is either better than Kefnet or worse, and I think he's better for me. I think he's better for me. So I think it's gonna go what's the white one called?
Oketra.
So it's Oketra, Bontu, Kefnet. I'm actually gonna do Ronas and then whatever the boar's name is.
Ilrog.
Yeah, Ilrog.
You think the boar is the worst one?
Yeah, it's just like you need to have the cards in your hand, otherwise it's just a 6/6 trample. And like if you're holding the guys in your hand for like that long, like eventually like you have to play it, right? Like or like eventually you're just gonna want to play it. But like I don't know, you have to have like another bomb or like I guess you could have like a hippo or something. You're just like, yeah, hippo.
I feel like we're really I don't know. We're maybe dwelling too long on Bontu. Like,
okay, he's good.
Take Bontu and play it. It's
Damn.
better than any common or uncommon. You might have a decision if you have a foil rare or mythic in that pack, but on Arena, you're just gonna take Bontu every time you see it.
Hippo. They are very territorial. F plus.
F plus. Is that better than F minus?
Yeah.
Okay. So F plus is like, for you, it's like right below D minus?
27th, 28th. Like if you have 8 creatures, 9 creatures, like you have to play him.
27th, 28th.
I mean, like...
I'll play it in your 50 card decks.
Yeah, right. I mean, like, you don't want to play him, but there are scenarios that I can see that you would need to have, like, a decently sized creature. But, like, there are so many other things that you could be doing before turn 5 and on turn 5 that are just better than this.
Yeah, I've already seen some decks that are just, like, you end up a little low on fatties, and you just play it. And you're not happy about it. That's why it's a D. You're just like, I'm not happy to have this card in my deck, but it fills a role.
I guess it should be pushed up to D rank because of that, but I don't know. I'll find almost any
it's
excuse.
a better D than some of the Ds that we've rated. But I don't know. Like,
I would play Toll Invasion over this card, definitely.
I would absolutely play Toll Evasion over this card, unless I needed
like it more.
just some dumb creature to be a win condition. Toll Evasion's not really going to help you close out the game.
But like, if we're looking at just black cards...
Yeah,
spoiler?
Black has a bunch of really good cards that cost 5 and 6 mana.
Yeah, so like, spoiler, like, this card is the only card that I would play. This is the second to last card that I would play. The last one being this one. Out of black. But yeah.
Do you like... How does the Hippo compare to Charity Extractor to you?
Charity Extractor?
Like, which one is
that?
better? That one. The 1/5.
Oh,
Oh, wait, you really like...
Extractor's better,
Yeah,
I think. If they're going up against each other, then, like, yeah, Hippo's going to be better, but, like, I don't know, Hippo's like a mid-range aggressive card, but, like, this is mid-range defensive. So, like, depending on what you're wanting to stall out for, like, this could be better. If you have Proliferate, this could be better. Like, this just becomes, like, a bigger guy, and I don't know, it's just, like, there's so many cards that just destroy target creature.
Yep.
At least this gains you life.
That one can gain you life. Hippo's not really going to help you gain life. Unless you have Sorin.
Yeah, Sorin. Okay, yeah, he's a bit better with Sorin. Massacre Girl. I think this card is great. I read it the first time, and then I was like, okay, it's okay. But then, like, I actually played it one game, and I was surprised by it because it's whenever that creature dies, it happens that many times. So if like 3 creatures die from it, it triggers 3 more times, not just 1 more time.
Yep.
So it's not like the Hearthstone card that I can't remember.
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
I don't know anything about Hearthstone either.
So it's not just like one effect that repeats if you kill the creature. And then like if you don't kill a creature after that time, then it doesn't repeat. But it's just, I don't know. I think you can set it up in a way where you're just going to wipe the board.
On so many boards, this is just Dune Blast. It's Dune Blast, but you always get to keep a 4/4 menace at the end of it. She just
That's
kills
awesome.
everything on almost every board. So
Indestructible
sometimes
doesn't
you
matter.
want to play like some Amass 1 cards or maybe some X1s just to get the party started, but that's... I mean, if there's an X1, an X2, an X3, that's the board. Goodbye.
Very much so. And like you can attack into your opponent
Yeah.
as long as there's like a certain block that's
Set
available
that
to
up
you. And
too.
and like I think for my reviews, I overvalue board wipes. But I think this is a solid B+. I think this card gives you a 4/4, gets rid of all your creatures, and has menace. Kind of sucks that it's legendary, but like, I don't know. That does everything that I want my mid-range card to do.
I think I like this card even more than you do.
Even more?
I think Massacre Girl is an A. And
I'll change. It's an A. I love this card. I was trying to be conservative
Well,
because I didn't know what you were going to say about
No, this
it.
card is great. I think this is my hot take, I guess, but I would take Massacre Girl. Would I take Massacre Girl over Bantu? That's a tough one. They're both so good. Although
Oh my god, that's tough. Yeah. I think I'd
I
take.
think I'd like
I'd take
Massacre
Bantu.
Girl a little bit better just because she can bring me back from behind, and Bantu doesn't really do that.
Yeah, but like the god has their ability, and it's just like hard to deal with it.
But luckily, you're never going to have to choose between those 2 cards. Unless you're playing in paper and you get one of them as a foil.
Then beware.
Which is not going to happen very often.
Then you might need to rewatch this really quick.
You'll have a tough decision.
Obnix.
Nixilis the Hate Twisted. 3 BB. Legendary Planeswalker Nixilis. Whenever opponent draws a card, he deals 1 damage to that player. And -2 destroy target creature. Its controller draws 2 cards. Now keep in mind, I think the default mode probably most of the time you're just gonna kill your opponent's creature and deal 2 damage to them. A lot of times Obnixis is just gonna kill a creature, they're gonna draw 2 cards and they're gonna take 3 damage. But if you're like, I've played this card, and when you're ahead on the board, this card is insane. It's just like a tempo card that destroys 2 creatures, and then they're just taking damage, and it has reach right on it. Plus, he has an additional mode. Like I said, he can do more than that. Like sometimes you target your own creature. Like I targeted Fibblethip with this at the pre-release.
Fibblethip! No!
I'm sorry I had to kill Fibblethip, but the value.
Fibblethip killer.
I killed
God damn
Fibblethip.
it.
I also brought back Fibblethip as a vampire. We'll get to that later when we get to that card. But that's some
Oktoberfest.
value too.
So what did you give it?
That was the same deck. I gave Obnixis a B-.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
I gave
think
it a
he's-
C-.
I think you play it in every black deck, and except maybe the most controlling black deck. But like, I still think he's worth a slot. He just doesn't enough stuff. Even if you're like, you can draw U cards, or if your opponent's not gonna die soon. If your opponent's not gonna die soon, you draw U cards. If you are ahead on board, and he can just be an amazing tempo. So that's why I gave him a B-.
I can see that. I could probably push him up to a C, especially since that he can just target your own stuff. Like his -2 could just read like sack a creature, draw 2.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I mean like,
And he still has his
He's
passive. He's
solid.
still hurting your opponent every time they draw a card.
yeah. So he's like, okay, C+ then. I guess if he's left on the board long enough, then he's like becoming better and better.
Yeah, he just stays there and hurts them. And
I don't know if I'd play more than 1 But like if you're having to bring yourself back with it, is
if this was the top of your curve in like an aggressive black deck, I'd play more than one. I'd play like all of them. I can't imagine. I mean, it's hard to imagine a better 5-drop in a black aggro deck than this.
I guess you could like kill their creature, swing, then like kill their creature, play second, kill their creature.
Well, you like kill their creature.
6 and
they take bunches. 2, and then you swing.
Aggressive decks, yeah.
And then their draw step, they take another one, and then next turn you can kill another if he survives, which is not that hard to do if you're ahead on the board anyway. If you're playing it as like a tempo spell, he's like always going to survive, or they're forced to attack it, and then all blocks will be worse. And then if he survives, he's doing another 3 damage in the next turn cycle, and then he's doing 1 damage every turn after that. They can't ignore this card when it's on the battlefield.
That's true. I'll stay at a C+ though.
Okay. That's a lot closer.
I don't think he's like a bomb or anything.
I'll take it.
He's like.
I still think he's a B-.
Okay. Bolas's Citadel. There's a lot of text here.
I think the difference between this card in sealed and draft is pretty big, but I think this card is great in both. I think in draft it's only really like a B+, and maybe it's kind of like a build around, like life gain gets better the more attrition your deck is, the better. If you're just like trading off your resources and like this is the top of your curve, you're just gonna like win every time. You have a lot of removal and like creatures to trade off, and then you just slam this, you just kind of win.
Yeah, I think this is what you play turn 6 every single game. Like it doesn't matter what's on top, it's just
if you're like very far behind, this card's kind of bad, or if you play it on a low life total, it's not great. You still get to play the lands for free, which it does have that other ability which comes up. The sacrifice 10 non-land permanents, each opponent loses 10 life. That is a pretty good finisher.
Yeah, that is basically a win con. It's like you win half the game. So like you just have to like do the other half.
You do 10 damage then, and they're just dead.
Like granted, like 10 permanents means that like.
Luckily,
that's half your deck.
Luckily, there's no stifle in this set. Otherwise, that would just be the biggest blowout.
That would be horrible.
Sacrifice my whole board.
Little children would cry.
Nope.
But I gave it a B+. I think it's fine in draft. Like in draft, it's a little bit better because you can like kind of work around what you want your deck to be. But in like sealed, it's a little bit more confining, I guess. Because, like, you don't get that card selection that you normally get out of draft. But, like, with sealed, it's slower, so then it makes up for that. I don't want to put it as a A- because I don't think it's, like, a bomb. Like, you need to have, like, a lot of other good cards to make it, like, that much more powerful. But, I mean, if the top of your deck is just, like, 10 1/1s, like, I'm fine with that. It's just like 1/1.
That's enough to win the game. I mean, that's 10 life.
Yeah.
You can make them lose 10 life if you have 10 1/1s on top.
Exactly.
I gave this card a B+. I don't remember if I actually said my grade, but we're in agreement here. This card is great.
Command the Dreadhorde. I thought this was creatures at first.
It's not just creatures, Alex.
But choose any number of target creature and or planeswalker cards in graveyards. Command the Dreadhorde deals damage equal to the total converted mana cost of those cards. Put them onto the battlefield under your control. This card's pretty insane when you have the Wanderer. You take 0 damage and you get everything back.
Oh my god, you're right.
It's insane. If you are able to amass that combo, your opponent will be like, Judge, is this true?
Is this fair? This isn't fair.
This is broken now, right?
I mean, it's basically broken. That does seem really good. I mean, I don't think you need the Wanderer to make this a good card, though.
No. And
I think this card's very similar to, actually. I think it's very similar to Bolas's Citadel.
It is. Except for...
I'm not actually sure which one I like more.
I actually want to change it. I originally had it as C+. but having it side to side next to Bolas's Citadel, I'm going to call it a B minus. I think you get the effect right away as opposed to Bolas's eventual.
Do you think it's worse than Bolas's Citadel?
I think it's on par, or it could be on par, but it's very dependent because like the Citadel, over time you can gain that life back. Like this is one thing. Like you need to set this up before you do it. Otherwise, like you could get like a couple guys back, but if you're like ahead, it's a win more card. But like same with Bolas' Citadel.
I think you play it in similar decks, just like black attrition decks, or you're just trading your cards for their cards, and then you just play one of these and you win. They both have like their pluses and minuses though. Like Command the Dread Horde is a lot less good if you're racing. It doesn't do anything if you're behind enough.
It's also not very good if you can't kill your opponent's creatures, or if you haven't that game. Then there's just like nothing there, and you have a 6-drop that doesn't do anything.
Yeah, if like all their creatures are flying and you can't block them, you're gonna have a bad time. Or if your opponent's just like has a deck with a lot of, like, if your opponent just has a deck with a lot of evasion and you don't have the removal to deal with it, like this card's not gonna do anything for you.
Yeah, and it's not like you're gonna get back like 6 planeswalkers, right? Like gaining that much life is just pretty hard to do, and like I think. One of the cards that we're going to talk about soon is just a lot better, but I think this card has a lot of potential, and that's why I don't think it's like a B or B plus, is because like you need to... It's not a very like minute scenario, but you need to have like the certain right things come up for it to be like crazy. But like I do think it's bomb worthy. I think your deck needs to be built in a way to support it, but not like... only support it, if that makes sense.
I mean, I still think you main deck this in every black deck.
Every black deck, yeah, but
so that's why it's at least a B, or I guess it could be a B minus in your case. I still play my.
If you have no,
I play
life,
my B minuses in my decks, but
well, I put like
I also
C
gave this.
in my deck.
I gave this card a B plus anyway. I mean, I think it's extremely. It's kind of close to the same thing as Bolas' Citadel. Sometimes it's more reliable, depending on the matchup. But I think you play both of these cards in every black deck. Maybe skew your picks a little bit towards removal and staying alive for the late game if you have one of these. But it's just a bomb in every black deck.
Yeah, it's a definite bomb. It just, I don't know.
It's just not the kind of bomb that can bring you back from being woefully behind, especially if your life total's low. But I mean, not every card is gonna bring you back from that anyway.
Except this chick.
Oh my goodness.
Woo!
This card.
A. It's not an A plus, but I really want to give it.
I think it is an A plus.
You think it's an A plus?
Yeah.
All right, convince me.
I've played against this card a lot, and I've never beaten it. Like she can, if you, even just her -4 can like bring you back from behind, and if you just slam it, you protect her for a couple of turns, and then you just win. Like her passive ability is just so strong. They can never win on the ground. They have to like kill her immediately, or like. Use some kind of evasion to kill her, but they're not going to win while she's on the battlefield unless they like already have you dead on board with flyers or something.
Gotcha. I think that against a white deck she's a little bit worse, just because they have access to so many different ways to exile planeswalkers as well as creatures.
Don't they only have one way to exile planeswalkers? It's just Prison Realm.
No,
white.
they have the black-white spell.
Oh, I mean, sure.
They could also make you
D-Spark,
sack.
You said just against white specifically. The only mono-white card that can answer her is Prison Realm.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to just say like mono-white, but like white X decks have like a few ways to...
White green definitely doesn't.
No.
White green is crying when they see this card.
So like this being an A, I feel like if you get it pack 3, you should probably try to go black, because this card is just like, it's really really good. But like I don't know what more I'd want from it to make it an A+, so maybe it should just be an A+. Maybe if it was like each opponent sacrifices 2 creatures, but her -4 is like pretty good to enable her static. So like I feel like I kind of want it, but I kind of don't. Like each opponent sacrifices 2 is like insane, right? It's really really good.
It's really
even at like a
really
-5, it's just like insane. But like enabling your own effects to be able to draw 2, depending on like where the board is at, is also like really good. Yeah, I just think that I would probably pick. See, that's where I'm gonna have a problem. I kind of want to talk about 2 cards at one time.
Probably the best black card, right? There's like only one other card that I think is close.
I think that card that we haven't reviewed yet?
Yeah, that card that we haven't reviewed yet. Should we just review it now?
Yeah, let's just go into it. Because Finale of Eternity, I think, is an A+. And it's like, it's hard to want to pick it over Lily, just because she is like a planeswalker and she's able to, be a lot more effective in a lot more situations, I guess. But like, I don't know, Finale of Eternity, destroying 3 creatures with like toughness X or less is just...
This card's stupid.
It's so good.
This card is really stupid, but I think Liliana's a little bit better.
I guess she's more versatile, so she is better. So I should probably switch the 2 ratings. Fine.
Alright. Liliana gets A+. Finale gets an
A. Because Finale definitely brings you back. It's an amazing card. It's a broken card and limited for the most part.
Just like every Finale, it's broken. If X is 10 or more, it's broken.
If X is 10, you should win.
The red is the one. The red one's the one you have to do the most work to make you win, but it's still pretty good.
I think the blue one is okay, but like we have different opinions on that anyway. So
we could talk about that one.
But yeah, I think since she is more versatile, you want to pick her over this. So if you have them in the same pack, it's like, it sucks to be you, but like you can like just pick the Lily.
You pick the Liliana and then don't pass any more black cards that way.
Just like put the Lily in your pocket, pick this one, and then like continue with your draft. Just kidding.
Really? You're just gonna hope your opponent doesn't notice you pass them a 13 card pack. Pick 2.
Well, no, it's gonna be like 2 people to your right, and they're gonna be like, "Hey, this pack doesn't have a extra card." You're like, "Oh, I don't know. That's crazy. It wasn't me."
I'm not condoning cheating.
Don't do it.
Don't cheat.
Don't fucking cheat.
All right.
I'll break your legs.
All right, let's do our last black card now.
All right.
Tithe Bearer Giant.
Tithe Bearer Giant. He's stealing some goods.
So I actually like this card more than I thought I would. Sometimes he's just a 2-for-1, but also like I think a lot of times I think you mostly just play him in all your black decks, just like not the ones that you have like multiple 6-mana black bombs, because there's a lot of them, like we just reviewed. Like if you have Citadel and Liliana, you're not going to put Tithe Bearer Giant in that deck.
You better not.
But I think you put Tithe Bearer Giant in most other decks. Like if you don't have like 2 6-mana bombs already, he's a really good curve filler.
Yeah, like if you don't have Citadel, if you don't have Command, don't have Lily, then you can put it in.
I think most black decks are not gonna have those cards.
I don't know.
I give this card a C-.
I gave it a D+. I think that being 6 mana is kind of tough. You do get to draw a card, which I do like for a 4/5, but I don't know. If you're able to play like a few different cards, especially with like a mass earlier on, then hopefully you won't need this effect. But he is definitely better than Hippo.
Yeah, I mean
he's better than.
He's like a 6-drop filler, but like really strong filler that you like just don't play when you don't have the 6 mana bombs, I guess. But like, I haven't drafted too much with this set yet, so I guess you don't actually. I mean, the red black sacrifice deck is actually aggressive. I guess you don't really want to play this card.
Yeah, it's definitely one that you'd sideboard out right away because you're not going to get to it. The extra life loss is pretty bad, and unless you're drawing like Liliana or Finale, like you're not. But then you shouldn't be playing this together. I don't know. Like I think he's good, but like he's probably going to be your 20 to 23rd card. At least that's how I see him.
Yeah,
like that's my D plus is like 20 to 23.
That's your D plus.
Yeah, and then like below 20s is where you get into C's.
Okay.
But like he could be good against, or he's going to be good against like control because you're going to go long.
You know what? I agree. D plus retired Better Giant.